Hey Fusion, welcome to another Wednesday student devotional. What if I was to give you some advice that was so powerful that whenever you put it into practice, it would immediately change your life? It would make your life better from this day forward for the rest of your life. This advice that I'm about to share with you is going to change your life. Whether you're listening to this in the morning, at noon, at night. By the way, if you're listening to this at noon, you should probably stop listening and go to school. But whenever you're hearing this, if you put this into practice, I guarantee you, God promises it will change your life. And so it's not really my advice, I guess. It's God's command. It's from Ephesians 6, 1 through 3. And it's our devotional today. I'm calling Seriously, Obey Your Parents. And so here's Ephesians 6. Real simple. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and your mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, so that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy long life on the earth. The Apostle Paul wrote this passage, and he wrote it to children. And children is all of us. Whether you're a teenager or an adult, we're all somebody's child. And so if you have a parent that's living, if you have grandparents that you live with or aunts and uncles that you live with, those are your parents. And we're told, obey your parents in the Lord. And then he quotes, you'll see in verse 2 and in verse 3, there's some words in quotes, and that's because this is one of the 10 commandments, and it says, honor your father and mother. And we are commanded to obey our parents. Now, real simple, here's the principle from this verse. Obeying your parents honors God and will lead to a better life. Maybe you understood that obeying God or obeying your parents would honor God, that God wants you to obey your parents. But did you also know God says it will lead to a better life? Now let's talk about this for a moment. This is going to look different. Obeying your parents looks different at different times in your life. If you're a teenager, I'm assuming you're all teenagers, unless you're one of the Fusion leaders listening to this, then you have a responsibility to obey your parents as you live in the house. And that means you're going to do what they tell you to do. Now, there's one time where you don't have to do what they tell you to do, and that's if they tell you to do something that dishonors God. But most of the time, the vast majority of the time, what your parents tell you to do, you need to do it. And this is honoring to God. When you obey your parents, you're honoring Jesus. But as you get older, that changes a little bit. And so honoring your parents and obeying them means taking care of them and providing for them. And you'll want to think about that the older you get. But what I want to finish up today is by talking about this last part where it says that you will have a better life, that the promise is if you honor and obey your parents, things will go well with you in life and you may enjoy a long life on the earth. Now, this isn't saying that those who die young didn't love and obey their parents. What it's saying is that God has a general principle that generally holds true, that if you obey your parents, you will avoid the kinds of sins and the kinds of things that end your life early, that end your life prematurely, and that God blesses people who honor their parents. And so I want to challenge you today. Pray to God. Talk about with God how you can obey your parents, because that is a way to show Jesus that you love him by treating your parents with love and respect. If you've recently dishonored your parents, talk to God about that. Confess it to him. Just tell God about it, and he'll forgive you. And then I want you to think about these things today, and we'll see you tonight at Fusion United at Riverdale. Hope to see you there.